Oh, here we are again now, and it's like no time has passed. Gazing out upon the sunset as it sinks into the night. Many times it seemed as though a given day might be our last. Face to face with certain death, it's somehow coming out alright. I don't think that we have any cause to lament, but there's quite a lot of thrilling intent, thrilling intent, thrilling intent, thrilling intent.
You disperse into the city. Almost as independent little clouds, you start to travel throughout this sort of sprawling metropolis. This city wasn't built to hold its populace, and not much you notice as you almost worm your way through these almost serpentine-like alleyways. You've got a destination. The Silverfish is leading you to a local warehouse where you have to negotiate some sort of release. You're exhausted, you've been traveling all day, the both of you, but just the same, you decided to assist them with this task. The door cracks open, and you enter. I have an arm around either of your shoulders.
Of course.
So, we're going to have to figure out a tactic for this one, I believe.
I go low, you go high?
No, not that kind of tactic. Like a rhetorical tactic, right?
Well, one could bid low, the other could bid high on this.
Yeah, okay.
Here's the problem. Right now, most people in this town do understand that it is quite literally our futures on the line. However, we're running into the issue that,
They're greedy sons of bitches?
yes, a few members of the merchantry have decided that they are going to not only bet on our success, they're going to keep their stock primarily to themselves, so that when we reach the other side of this, they will be instrumental in the rebuilding effort. They don't gain much by donating to public processes right now, especially because, they're demanding one of two things. One, that they be able to keep their goods behind lock and key, or two, that they be compensated perhaps more fairly than they deserve on the other side of things.
Did they actually understand how dire things are? Because this is a literal national emergency.
Floats those two fingers up and down, and this is what I've been dealing with over the past few weeks. Here's the thing.
Oh,
the
I can
majority
threaten them if you think that would work. Physically.
Sure. At this point, I'm relatively running low on options, but I need you to
threaten
understand.
high, I threaten low.
Yeah,
Sure.
that should work. Conceptually high and low, or spatially high and low?
That's something we find out in the heat of battle.
Fair enough.
They sort of shake their head. You need to understand, the majority of the merchantry have gone along with our demands. For the most part, we are all in this together. The supply has been opened. Stock has improved radically as a result. However, what we're dealing with now is the last few holdouts. Those who assume that, they'll either be dead or rich, and their goods won't make the difference between victory or defeat, so they might as well take that gamble.
And what goods do the remaining holdouts have in their possession? If it's diversified general goods, that's one thing. But if it's specific stuff, maybe we can take that into account.
In this particular instance, we are dealing with a combination of weaponry and food.
Well, the food at the very least we can make a compassionate case for, I'm sure.
It's true, but both are most required by armies.
Oh, certainly. I'm trying to think. It might end up being the case that we need to tackle both of those things separately and somewhat differently.
Of course.
Or take them both out in one fell swoop.
Or that. We could also knock the merchant unconscious and then, oh, hello, sir.
Pokes that out. You guys done scheming in my lobby?
This isn't scheming. This is a strategy meeting.
Yes. And, due to the current war effort and situation, your lobby is, our lobby. The Silverfish says with a winning smile. I guess you can keep scheming then. Cracks door
Thank
open. You hear the door lock behind them. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have laid some sort of claim to their lobby. I'm gonna go knock. Is that okay?
Are we done scheming?
I'm gonna go knock. It's fine. I think our schemes are done. Excuse me, merchant. Knock, knock, knock. Creaks door open. Yeah, hello. Well, we've come to negotiate for your goods. I see. Door re-creaks and then closes and locks. I see. You see, this is what I've been dealing with. This is the problem that I've been dealing
Is
with.
this typical negotiation?
Typical no, because normally they come to my office and we talk and they don't.
But this
lock.
is your office now, right? That's what you were saying?
Technically, yeah. I guess,
For scheming?
yes. Technically, yeah. Very good. Very
So things
good
are on track.
job ascertaining the situation. Can you say something to maybe coax them out of their merchant hole?
I can try. Excuse me, sir. We're going to take this door off the hinges if you leave it up. Also, this is Marcus Valafi. I'm here both as a trade consultant and as a representative of the superior shop person service. You may have heard of us. We were something of an ongoing raider and compiler of merchant well-being.
Roll to razzle dazzle.
Can do.
Silverfish throws up their hands. I tried to warn you. If you just handed your goods over immediately, you wouldn't have been on the radar of the. What was it? The Superior Shopkeeper Service?
The Superior Shopkeeper Service. Yeah, no, we've been getting a lot of red flags, actually, that started cropping up. Lots and lots of disgruntled
This
customers.
isn't extortion, by the way.
No,
We're not
actually,
extorting you.
it's practically the exact opposite of extortion. If you don't want to have your reputation really thoroughly trounced, I suggest that you just let us in and we can talk about this like reasonable bureaucratic adults.
Your pizzazz roll says that he unlocks the door, so he unlocks the door.
Yay!
Clicks it
That's
open.
what I like to hear.
Huh. Well, I don't know. I feel like I haven't heard of any Superior Shopkeeper Service. I have
Really?
heard of the magnificent merchant. What was that? He's scratching his beard. Silverfish immediately behind you. Pivot, 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 pivot.
Oh, they are entirely scam artists. We're the real deal.
I see. Okay. Well, yeah, you could come in and
Yeah, no,
examine
there's
our
actually
goods.
you'll be getting you'll be hearing about some class action lawsuits that got filed against the
Magnificent Merchant
merchant.
Menagerie.
That's the one, yeah. There's some nasty practices going on there. It's actually thanks to us, the Superior Shopkeeper Service, that their antics were called out and that they're now getting the comeuppance they deserve.
I see, huh? Well, yeah, here are our goods, motions around. There's a lot of food in here.
Yep, those are apples.
Yes,
Okay. Negotiation succeeded.
Initial negotiations succeeded.
I mean, yeah, you got in here so you could review my goods for your magazine, right?
Well, you clearly did not listen to me. I said I am here both as a trade consultant for my good friend, the Silverfish, and as a representative of the magazine called the Superior Shopkeeper Service. It's just coincidence that I'm here on both of these duties at the same time.
As easily as he breathes, Marcus lies. Weaving layers and layers of the lie together, he simply effortlessly negotiates his way into this warehouse. I see, huh? Well, you need to understand my situation. He walks over and taps the barrel, or taps the box, upsetting some lemons. He points to this. These goods were fairly acquired before this whole thing started.
Of
and
course.
I haven't done business up to this point, and I don't intend to until this concludes.
Which is, sir, you realize just how morally repugnant that is. Pardon my language, but that is morally repugnant.
Huh? We have a multitude of food shortages.
Tannhauser is currently in a crisis that could literally cause it to cease existing as a sovereign nation.
Well,
And you cease existing as a sovereign person with it.
Exactly.
I,
Just as my colleague says.
Gregor.
Hi, I'm Gregor.
Roll to razzle dazzle.
I believe in you.
Smash cut to like 5 minutes later.
Oh.
Okay, so we're out here now.
Yeah.
Because,
How did he get us back out here? I don't remember going back through the door willingly.
That may have been my fault.
Well, I think the
I
problem
mean,
is
it's all ultimately his fault for being an entirely unreasonable hoarder of goods in the middle of an emergency situation.
That's what I was trying to tell him.
yes,
So anyway, I'm going to take these hinge pins out.
It takes a little bit of work. Silverfish just sits there and goes like, well, here's the problem. They did actually manage to discover one of those magnificent merchant menagerie magazines in their stock, and I think that might have alerted them to the fact that the cover story you went with was fake as hell.
Well, look, no, the cover story could be real as hell, because as I was saying, this is a recent decision from a non-local court, okay? It takes time for these things to reach outlying towns.
Marcus,
see.
you should have told me that you were lying. Because I didn't
I-
know, so I gladly pointed it out to him to prove your
Yeah,
story.
which,
but-
I mean, I don't blame you. I should have told you. I absolutely should have told you, but, it's reasonable that you did that, Gregor. Look, maybe we need a bit of a different approach here. What if we were able to appeal to his sense of advertising? What if, when we do get these goods from him and, parcel them out as provisions for everybody, what if we did it from stalls marked with this man's name, his business, and, just some blurb that reflects well on him, to the point where hopefully people will remember it after this ongoing crisis, and maybe come to him first when they're looking to trade again, and after they're back on their feet.
Yes, if you can convince him that that is the fair restitution that he deserves.
Oh, it'll be like you're making him a hero.
Exactly.
People love heroes.
So I gather that we aren't able to pay above normal market price for the goods. Will we be able to just pay the price that he would have, been paid for this generally without a markup?
Yes. Here's the problem. The majority of merchants who understand the situation have already pitched in. We don't have the ability to offer the prices that he demands to every single merchant, and as such, if we were to directly reward his I suppose holdout nature, it would cast a bad precedence, and afterwards we may lose the faith and interest of the other merchants.
To be clear, I'm not suggesting that we pay above the rate that we paid the rest of the merchants, but if we were able to frame the future advertising and, sort of talking him up as a trader to the people of Tannhauser in general, if we're able to play that up as being equivalent or even greater than
Yes.
that increased price, we might be able to make this work.
An advertisement is something that we can also offer the other merchants so that they aren't functionally screwed by us making a deal here. No, that seems wise.
Yeah, what if the super shopkeeper slamorama or whatever became a real thing? And you have a seal of approval that you give the people who help out.
Right. Well, I mean, I couldn't give
You'd
the
want to have
same... I can't even afford to own and train one seal right now, so I'm not sure that would work so well. But I like that idea, Gregor, and honestly, whether or not the superior shopkeeper service ends up standing the test of time, I'm really just using it as more of a lever for this situation.
I see. Well, I'm actually curious where you learned the ways of capitalism, Marcus.
Well, I've scammed a number of people and shopkeepers in my day. Don't tell anybody.
Yes, I was curious just because, well, when it comes to Tannhauser and the way we do business here, the way you're talking is rather uncharacteristic. It's an interesting turn.
We might have spent a non-zero amount of time in Alderaan and among Alderani companionship. That's really what happened here.
And I see you've taken to it like a fish to water.
I mean, it is kind of morbidly fascinating now, right? And you
Yes.
know what they say, when in that town that people always use for analogies, do as the people of that town do.
I am familiar with that town.
Yes, yes.
It's
As are we all.
it's a rather ubiquitous place, isn't it?
Ah, yes, the town of ubiquity. Holy shit.
Okay, well, ubiquity aside, dust sands off, stands up. Let's see if we can't scam a merchant, okay?
Let's. And honestly, this isn't even really a scam. This is just a real earnest offer, which I think it could actually really help him in the future.
We're turning
That's
the
fair.
scam into something legitimate.
Yeah, from scam to
Grand,
spam.
Grand Slam?
Yes,
What's
that
that?
one. No idea, but I love it.
Oh, you don't know about baseball? Here, I have a lot to tell you.
Baseball.
Motion's over in this direction. Give me a roll to razzle dazzle to obliterate this man with capitalism.
Can do.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you for how you went about that.
Yeah.
It's just ultimately
I blame me for how I went about that, but thank
he
you.
proved less persuasive to the ways of capitalism than I expected. A Tannhauser merchantry. You
Well,
had no
that's
real
because
way
he's
of knowing.
it's not our fault he's an idiot.
That's fine. Your hat's crooked. Silverfish reaches up. You're now wearing a hat with that man's face on it.
Yeah. And really, the cloak decal is very distasteful.
You might say so. It does attract a lot of attention to your lower half.
I think that's the point. But yeah,
It is tactically placed. You could have put it anywhere else.
yeah. But I mean, this was the condition. I will abide by it, however grudgingly.
Marcus walks ahead, basically, with an expression that reads, "We all have our heavy crosses to bear," while walking with his tactically placed tramp stamp of that man's face.
Jesus Christ.
I see. Silverfish walks behind. Well, I did promise if you manage to open that place up, to take
Ice
you
cream?
both out for what?
Ice cream?
Do you
Take us both out for ice cream. I'm sorry, I preempted you. Go on.
I will admit your negotiation tactics are they've grown exceptionally advanced over years apart. Yes,
I've had lots of practice by this point, but honestly, you were my role model first and foremost, so thank you.
I seem taken aback by that and sort of pick away at an errant hair. I'm shocked, actually. I can see very little of my own tactics reflected in your own. You've taken it in such a unique direction.
It's more that I was initially inspired to engage in, the art of diplomacy and bartering and speaking and spinning bullshit from watching you do it.
They smile
That
at
is
that.
meant as a wholehearted compliment. I
Oh
hope you
yeah, no, they
realize.
smile at that. They fully accept that for the compliment it is.
Good.
They get a big smile on their face. Perhaps this traveling abroad thing has its own advantages. It seems like you've honed this spinning of bullshit.
It's because the
against
world
the
is nothing but bullshit. It's kind of beautiful.
What a deeply reflective and insightful philosophy.
Oh, 1 second, I need to
Silverfish
wave
says-
my ass at these passerbys. These passersby.